They'll be shortchanging us. I can tell you that. In fact, I have sent a bill to the State Assembly as to make sure that we are going to start collecting our VAT and other taxes to improve the welfare of the people. Look, there's no basis at all. Now, like you say, what we did today, we are not the biggest beneficiary. Lagos will be.
Yeah.
It's an APC.
They collect.
It's an APC state. Yeah. It's an APC state. So it's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with whatever, but it has to do with doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. Now you ask yourself, and that's why this country, why are we doing things based on party? Why? Why? Ordinarily, I thought Lagos and others ought to. But because they're the APC state, or APC government, or APC party, they are likely not to. Because of loyalty to the party. Against what is right. Against not following the Constitution.
The spirit of the Constitution.
Why would I do that? Even if I'm in a ruling party, and I know they're doing what is wrong,
yeah,
I will challenge it.
I was going to ask that.
Take for example,
if it was
let me
have been able, would
yes,
you have done what?
Yes, it happened in my state when I was chairman of council under the Peter Odile. They set up a state sanitation agency that was clearing refuse, right? The law is clear. Sanitation is within the purview
of local councils.
So I wrote to the governor. I said, sir, this is our responsibility. Sanitation, fees, and the rest were to be committed by us. Very intelligent, very easygoing governor who wants to work with everybody. Who said that? It's okay, sit down, let's talk. What do? It's your responsibility. How do you carry the refuse? How do you dispose of the refuse in the city? Mind you, the state has a responsibility to make sure the cities are clean.
Yeah.
Right. Can you sign for us that you will be carrying the refuse? And then I know that we have a limitation. And then we came into agreement. And that's the way government works. First of all, it is not within your power to do what you are doing. But then you must sit with those that are close with such powers or such functions to discuss with you. And we discussed with the government to put out leader. And we agreed. And each local government is to bring nominee for the sanitation board. So let's move on. Compromise for the interest of the people. Obviously, it would have been difficult for local government to carry out that function. Obviously. Yeah. But that's what it's supposed to be. He didn't say because he's a governor.
And that he had the capacity.
I had the power. That's why, okay, well, what can you do? No. He sent for me, sent for the mayor of Port Harcourt, and we sat down and we discussed. We must work together. The city must be clean. And we achieved it. That is how governance is supposed to be. But here, you are trampling on my powers, on my rights, and you told me to be a beggar. I've never seen a thing like that in my life. You know that it is within my right to do this. You came, hijacked it. Not only hijacking it, made me to be begging you, kneeling down every day, begging you for money. When it is my money that you are collecting, and you told me to be a beggar. Every state today, I'm emasculated. Every state today, that's why I see governors every time they're in Abuja, begging for 1 naira or 2 naira. But if things are supposed to be done in the right way,
yeah,
it shouldn't be so.
On the issue of
taxation.
Yes,
how can you tax within my province as a federal system? Come on, it's never done anywhere.
You are also a lawyer. A lot of lawyers I've spoken with on this case of the view that a whole lot of things should change. For instance, under the old regime, before this court order, the FIRS was collecting 4%.
As what they call
collection charge.
Yes.
And then what is left after the 4%, the federal government takes 15%, and is it 15 years, and then gives 85 to states and local governments. Now, with this court judgment, what do you think will happen?
Look,
first of all, there is no fees that will be collecting 4%.
Let me tell you, it's fraud. It's a scam. With all due respect. Just for example, I told you here, for example, I paid contractors of recent over 30-something billion naira for contract they're executing. And we are paying VAT. Look at the money, 7.5% of that VAT is how much? Now, I'm not going to get that money in a month from VAT. I mean, it's simple arithmetic. Yeah. Who is shortchanging who? The federal government should not emasculate the states. They have turned the states to be beggars. Every day one governor is in Abuja trying to say, Mr. President, he has this problem, he has that problem. If the states are allowed to control, to be in charge of some of these items that are provided in the Constitution, I don't think it will get this bad. No, it can't get this bad. Now, hotels, who provide a enabling environment for businesses to thrive here, to thrive? The state government. Then I provide business environment, conducive environment, provide the road for them. Then they are doing business, you are coming to tax them. Then you share the money to me. I can't understand. I don't understand. And who even knows how much you are collecting? Have you ever declared it? You just say, Lagos is about 40%. About. What is that 40% about? Rivers State is about this percentage. How much does it come to? And how much do I get? So any state that's not in support of this move, that government must have a set to re-examine. Because if they are selling this idea to you, that some of you states that don't have anything, it's a lie. It's a lie.
There's no state
that has nothing to collect. There's no one state. Why? You have hotels. Why? There are contracts that have been done in these states. Businesses are going on. No matter how little, you are in charge of collecting. You are not paying anybody.
Some states also choose not to collect some level of VAT.
Yes.
Because it's their right not to.
But the point that, because federal government has tried to usurp this power that is not within their purview. So the states are like, what do we do? But we said, no, something can be done. Something can be done. And you see, if you don't take these steps, things cannot move on in this country.
So how do you intend to enforce this judgment? What will be your enforcement mode, for instance? Would you be collecting the
first of all, we have sent a bill. First of all, we have sent a bill to the State Assembly for them to pass on the collection of this VAT and other taxes.
When you collect, how will you share it?
How do I share how?
Will the federal government pay that?
Until they come until the Assembly pass the bill first. But for collection here, we will collect. And then any company or that does not know what to do. In fact, we are going to set up our tax tribunal soon. You see, we must do things right. The federal government cannot collect everything and subject the states to be beggars. Nobody should do that.
That's like 2 items in the exclusive legislative list that you have succeeded in taking off the hands of the federal government now.
Like we were trying to remove the hands.
Yes, but there are still so many.
Yes.
Because I went through the constitution, I think 2 days ago, and I still see a lot of items on the exclusive legislative list, items in the exclusive hands of the federal government to control. That in the line that the Federal High Court has determined this VAT case also ought to be along that line. Issue of tourism and tourist site, for example, there are potential money spinners for states, but they are in the hands of
tourism.
The federal government.
No, tourism is not in the exclusive list.
Monuments and historical places is in the exclusive list.
No, if it's all you're required to do, so you don't mix up the issues.
Yes.
We are saying that police trust fund, that police is under the exclusive list. Yes. Therefore, it's your responsibility.
Yes.
Don't take my own money to solve the problem.
I'm even talking of the ones that are in the exclusive list that ought not to be there.
No, that comes to constitutional amendment.
Yeah, that state should also be fighting.
That is a different thing altogether. The one we are fighting, first of all, is the one that is not within your purview. The one you are talking about is the one that within their purview. And we are saying, no.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. That's a different thing.
It's
a different thing. But the one we are talking about, look, this one is not within your powers. Therefore, don't touch it. Or the one within your powers, don't take my money to solve the problem. That's what we are saying. Now, the one that within you, and we are saying that you don't need to be having these functions. Yeah. Remove your hand from it and send it back to the residual list. That comes by way of amendment to the Constitution. So, we're not here yet. The amendment is going on. Okay. The states are pushing for what should be amended for and what should not be amended. The one we are talking about now, this VAT you are collecting is not within your own powers to collect the VAT. It is within our own powers. So stop touching. Okay. The one of political front, carry your problem and go. If you want to touch my money, let me know. You don't just wake up as a dictator to say whether you like it or not, I must take your money. No, we are saying no, you can't do that. We are in a democratic
so when you start collecting, you keep.
Yes.
Because it's your money.
Yes.
And if the
like that with the VAT we have and what I've seen, I can tell you the kind of projects that will spring up in this state.
Serious points, boiling points, as it were. This week alone, you've been in Abuja almost like 2 or 3 times, attending one meeting or the other. So let's start with all of that. Has the stormy water in the PDP calmed down now? Because you are in the thick of it. At one time or the other, this couple of days, you've been accused of being the one that is stirring all the crisis in the PDP.
Well, what is the crisis?
NWC members resigning, clamor for the national chairman to step down, and all of that.
I'm not a member of the National Working Committee, but if there are reasons why people are complaining, I think it is important you hear from what the complaints are. In politics, of course, even when your wife cannot have a child, somebody will be accused of it. When you cannot find something to eat, somebody is responsible for it. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't bother myself about whatever accusation anybody wants to make. But again, you see that those who make such allegations are timid. They can't be bold enough to say that it is you. What you say, oh, there's one South-Side governor. We have 6 South-Side governors, 5 in PDP and 1 in the APC. Maybe it could even be the one in the APC that may be causing the crisis. But be that as it may, there comes a time in life, even as a human being, you must have your challenges. It's the ability to see how you overcome such challenges that is very important. As political parties, it's expected that there comes a time when you are going through a period of electoral processes. That's what happens, because of one interest or the other. You must not rule that away. But I can tell you something, and this is what gives me this confidence. I used to be afraid of PDP, that certainly things are not going well. And I used to be afraid that there's possibility of an implosion, and that could be the end of the party. But what I saw Monday, gave me a lot of confidence for the first time. I've never seen that happen. The way the governors came together and they spoke in a very convivial manner, convivial environment, and came up with no dissenting view. I was impressed. I said, God, you really have a work, really, that PDP is likely to take over the reins of affairs of this country in 2023. Because I was quite afraid that that would be the end of the party. But the way it turned out in the meeting, and so everybody working towards one aim and coming out stronger, taking a decision that even people never believed it, that governors could take such a decision in a united form. That goes a long way to say, look, PDP is prepared to take over the reins of power 2023. But in the party too, the problem I've seen, people like division, and I see them as agents of the ruling party. You know, you could have your, of course, it's there. You can't run away, you cannot rule it out, it's of course. The ruling party must have agents who must be with one word to destabilize the party. And you must be very, 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 very alert. There are so many of them. There are so many of them. What they like to do is to cause division. Because you ask yourself in a party, why would anybody not want the governors to work together? Of what interest will you serve? If governors are divided, that means the party will be divided. At the end of the day, who wins? It's not the ruling party. So you, by your only motive, is to see that the governors are not united. Whom are you working for? Whom are you working for? That's why what happened on Monday was shocking to most of them. That governors could speak with one voice, which has never happened. All you have seen every time is some members, they call them, some people, some of them call themselves former ministers, some call themselves former governors, whom I won't call their name, but they know that all they do is to see that they will divide the governors. Carry one rumor to the other. Carry this rumor to this person. Putting the heads of these governors, knocking their heads together. And when they do that, they can come up with one position. Whom are such people working for? Are they working for the interests of the party? Certainly not. I believe. You remember, when people say all accusations, I hear one senator was talking, of course that senator is also not bold. For Christ's sake, be bold and talk as a man and as a senator. Be bold and talk. Be man enough to say something out.
Is it the allegation against you that you are the...
Some a senator will say, oh,
that is spending state money to...
If they call me for a Christmas...
To induce crisis in the party.
Who can say, as it stands today, he has supported the party more than the governor of Rivers State? Out of the 13 governors we have today. Who? So of what will it pay? Who will lose if there's a crisis in the party? Who? Who will benefit if there's unity in the party? Me. Do I look like somebody who could one day move to the other party? Is that possible? Certainly not. But is that possible that some of these people have the tendency to move to the other party if they are lured? Certainly yes. Our traits are there. You don't need to be told. But I will never close my eyes and see that things are going wrong in my party, and I speak out of it, and you want to say anything. In a family, there are people who are free givers. There are people who are very conservative. Luckily, I don't fall into the hand of the group of the conservatives. I fall to the group of liberals, whom I would like to share with whatever I have. If there's an offense, that's their business. I can't see my party dying without salvaging my party. I will not do that. I will not. So if anybody comes to say, Father Christmas, it's the same Father Christmas that there has been, that most people have been accusing, that was responsible for them to be in position. Certainly yes. People say, oh, Wike, you need to hijack the party. People say, oh, Wike is the one who tells what happened in the party. I'm the one who determined what happened in the party. And the one they gave no time to hijack. if I was the one dictating the affair, who means I've hijacked the party since? So what am I telling her to hijack? Because they're not going to hijack again. It has been hijacked by me before. So it doesn't make sense. When you come out to speak the truth, do not bother about whatever anybody will say. When once you feel satisfied in your conscience that you are doing what is right, to hell with anybody. Take for example, you see a party is having crisis. You see a party is having problem because of your inefficiency, because of ineptness, because of your not being committed. All you want is you. And somebody comes up to say, look, it can't continue to be this way. Then people give you all kinds of names. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and do your work. Take, for example, there's a House of Reps member from Abia State. The organizing secretary of the party, Augustine Akobondo, how on earth will he deny a House of Rep member his ward executive, National Assembly member, ward, not local government, ward? And I'm sure that guy had left the party. For denying him his ward executive, you are not from that ward. National Assembly member from that ward. Because you want to run for governorship. You believe he may not likely support you. For Christ's sake, what is ward? That you will not win your governorship? How can a ward work hard? I mean, how can a ward deny you of governorship? A ward. Now you have made us to lose that member because of your selfish interest, the leadership of the party. How can I, as a governor, I have a senator in his ward, I will deny a senator of his ward executive, ward, even though I feel that governor, that senator wants to run for governor. For Christ's sake, what is wrong if a senator wants to be a governor? In any case, having his ward, does that confer governorship on him? Ward executive. How many people even in the ward that are eligible to even cast their votes in the primaries? So for the interest of the party, why not say, look, Senator A, take your word. Why would I want to lose a senator? Simply because of word. And you're a leader of the party, and you say that's what the governor says. You can't tell that governor, Your Excellency, come on. You have 319 words like in River State. What does Senator Benga ward do? 1 man of 319. What is that? At least to keep our Senate seat. To keep our Senate seat. What is supposed to do? I'm a governor of River State. My position here has been, don't move from another ward to another ward. Stay in your ward. There are other leaders from those wards. Allow them to control their wards. Don't leave their local government and go and begin to do things untoward in other local government. I will not accept it. What are you looking for? All right? Nobody can say, no senator House of Rep can say in this state today that they have no contribution in their wards and local governments party school. Not one. But don't cross to the other local government. Don't cross to the other ward. If you do that, then there's something you are looking for, and which may not be palatable.
It will also be infringing on the interest of another.
Of another person. Now take for example, what I will always say, Senator A, you are from this ward. Commissioner from the same ward. Assembly member, for example, the same ward. Senator, you can't take all. Yeah. So you must also allow commissioner to have some. You must also have the assembly member to have some. Because all of you now make up stakeholders. Yeah. Right? That is how things are done.
So those were the things that some of the NWC members were ought to be promoted.
To be promoted. And to say, look, Your Excellency the Governor, you are the governor. But sir, Senator A, I want him to take his word. But you can't talk about local government, it's not the only one. You have chairman of council. You have other people.
Also have councillors.
You also have council. So they should also partake. But I don't know how anybody will want to lose a senator.
Because of
one word. And you say it's not important. Whether it's important or not, the moment the senator goes to the Senate chambers and announces that he has the count, it has a psychological effect. If you are 40, it will be 39. Yeah. Before you know tomorrow, it will be 38. Before you know tomorrow, it is 37. By the time you know, it's 36. And people say, hey, what's going on? Because of your inability to nip it in the bud at the right time.
But let me bring all of this to the office of the national chairman.
Yes.
He is not only from Rivers State.
Yes.
You literally put him in that office. I said literally.
Yes.
So a lot of people believe that he is supposed to enjoy some very close relationship with you.
Yeah.
Did that line of communication or did it break down or the closeness just evaporated? What happened?
First of all, let me say
what happened.
I enjoy the support.
The couldn't hear the fact.
I enjoy the support of my colleagues, the governors, for national chairman to emerge. In fact, I remember one of newspapers, I think it is it this day or Daily Independent thereabout, where one of our leaders, His Excellency Sule Lamido, said in that paper that this is the kind of leadership that Wike, the governor of Rivers State, imposed on them. That was Sule Lamido. That this is the kind of leadership that the governor of Rivers State, Wike, imposed on them. Why? There was a crisis as per the party structure in Jigawa State. And it does appear Sule Lamido was not working along with the party leadership at the national level. And so he accused me that that was the leadership I imposed on them. Right? So anything that happened is wicked. Right? But you see, when they settled and the party structure was given to Sule Lamido, it's no longer wicked. He was now talking in good with the party. That is the kind of things you see in this politics. Now, everybody believed that whatever the national chairman was doing
must have been dictated
by Wike, was having the backing of Wike. I believe when you support somebody, support him to succeed. But when things are also going wrong, if you don't say it out, people will believe that you're part of it. And therefore, I owe it as a duty to see that things are not going right. Therefore, we must have to stop.
But
if that angers anybody,
did you at any time whisper those things?
I did. At all times, I said it privately and publicly. But like I said, understanding is key. It depends on what you have in your mind, what you tend to do. I did everything everybody in my position, anybody in my position should do. But one way or the other, politics is something that you may not really understand where anybody's heading to. That's why I said God saved PDP recently. And that I knew that God really wanted PDP to be somewhere.
Because the governor spoke in one.
Not only the governor speak in one voice, I saw a change. I saw that is a new PDP that is coming. Whatever we have agreed. For me, once you agree with people on issues, you move on. But my happiness is that the so-called crisis in PDP, or what people thought would have been a major crisis, was sorted out. And we thank God that today we are singing a different song. But, like I told you, I'm not this kind of person that, what anybody would like to say. I'm not, I don't even bother. Once, like I said, my conscience is clear, I'm doing the right thing, it doesn't matter. Take for example, take for example, how you see how human beings are. I studied the organizing secretary again. People are not sincere. He wants to be governor of Abia State. Nothing is wrong in that. He's from Abia. For Christ's sake. He's from Abia. But he must do it in a way that the party will survive. Now, what he intends to do is to be the organizing secretary, which you know is an engine room of the electoral process of any party. Then later, having done whatever he wanted to do, later he decides to run for the government at his own advantage. Right? Is that fair? That's not fair. And I called his governor the other time. I said, what kind of characters do you have? Nothing is wrong in somebody running an election. But will you run an election when there's no party? Certainly not. Certainly not. What was my problem?
With the chairman?
No, we're talking about the chairman. Chairman comes home. He comes here. For last time he was sitting somewhere here. So, whatever, he has not told me what his problems are. All I know, I told you that, look.
People around him, since this crisis got escalated, people around him who quote him say, you are the problem, and it is because of your ambition you want to push him out.
What?
Because your ambition doesn't synchronize with him as national chairman.
Okay. What is my ambition? For Christ's sake, what's my
Either
ambition?
to be president or
Have
be
you
vice
ever,
president.
have you ever seen any governor allow somebody to be chairman in the state?
I keep wondering why.
So why did they allow him to be chairman?
Why is it that governors don't always want
Because of the power struggle.
between the chairman?
Yes.
And
the chairman would not feel that as another chairman, he has a lot of things to do.
And he's the leader.
Whatever it is. But I never thought of that. I said, what for? Why can't you work with your national chairman? What's the problem? You're a governor of a state, you're the national chairman of the party. There's no conflict of interest.
Two parallel lines.
That's nothing. Except something else. So I don't understand. But the point I'm making when you say people are around the chairman, who are they?
Those who speak for him.
I don't know them. Just let them come up and say whom they are. You know, if I am fighting you, you will know that Wike is fighting you, and Wike is not going to run and to hide. I've never hidden.
Is it possible that at one time or the other, when the relationship between the two of you was still very cordial, you had probably whispered some things in his presence to him or said some things in his presence as to your future political interests?
No. Look. The party was not doing well. And I felt that, look, if this continues, will be... Look, I have no other place to run to. I can't see the roof leaking. And then I said, go and bring the basin. And you put the water below the basin. By the time I carry that basin to go and throw the water, the floor would have run the floor. I have to repair the leaky roof. Nobody wastes time for such thing. Politics now, you have no time to correct things that are going wrong. People, look, let me tell you. Those whom I hear have indicated interest for presidency. If there's no party, can you run for presidency? If there's no party, can you run for presidency? No way. You know, people, look, you know, you can be born today. Somebody who doesn't know you, he sees you that day, he hates you. You have nothing in common with him. There's nothing that has come in between. He just met you today. He just hates you. It's natural. What do you do? Those of them who are saying, okay, so people should be man enough and say, Wike, don't say, Ran South governor. Be man enough. Be man enough. I called our common here now, the Government Secretary. Am I afraid of him? It's one of those staring crises in the party because of ambition.
Are there more people within the PDP who are also playing one role or the other because of ambition? Initially, you talked about some people who masquerade under the guise of being ex this, ex that.
Look, let me tell you something. There are, like you said here, why should I be the one always going to court to challenge certain things that people think are infractions of the Constitution and the rest of it. We are created differently. Some people choose not to talk. Some people say, no, I was created, I was given mouth. If God said I shouldn't talk, he wouldn't have given me mouth. He gave me mouth to speak, and I will speak out. He put me in this position to correct certain ills. So I will see when there are things going bad, I keep quiet. For whatever reason it is, I will not. I will not. So when I saw things were going bad in the party, I have to shout. And I told the leadership, I told my colleagues, things were going wrong. It's better I will correct it now, or will pay for it at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what anybody may think. Let me tell you something. In the last convention where presidential primaries in Port Harcourt, I never supported Elijah to go back. It was open. I never hid it. I supported Tambo, and I don't regret it. I did it. But I can tell you, of all those who supported Atiku, nobody supported Atiku more than me. In terms of vote or material support. Nobody campaigned for him more than me. I challenge anybody in the state.
In the main election?
In the main election. Because I'm a party person. I never negotiated with federal government, with the ruling party. I never one day to say, look, allow me to win. You will score. I didn't do that. In fact, it may interest you that this is the only state in the South that the president, APC, never got 25%, where he had their DG. In 2015, they didn't get. They did it from here. In 2019, they didn't get. They did it from here. Is it easy? It's not easy.
Is there a problem between you and His Excellency, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar?
No, there's no problems.
Okay. Because a lot of people believe that his recent visit was principally to mend fences with you, and also to plead for soft landing, or that you should sheath your sword against him. Chief Uche Secondus. Because Uche Secondus was believed to be his preferred candidate for the office of the national chairman.
I don't know. Have they done zoning before somebody?
Now and beyond. That's why I said now and beyond.
No, before you prefer, zoning must have been done.
Yeah, that he is interested in having a second bite at that.
Have they zoning to the north? Why not people allow zoning to take place? When zoning takes place, you now know. Remember, in 2014, when Atiku wanted to run against it was me. He came for Fed as the governor. After the election, that was 2018, not 2014, 2018, when he wanted to run against 2019, he came to me. I was the first governor he visited. Now, after the election, we never met. Maybe because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and one country.
Yeah, he was out of the country for a long time.
He came back and he said, look, I've not seen this guy, we have never spoken, let me go and see him. And he came.
That's why he came.
Yes, and we talked, and he told me why we couldn't speak, why he wasn't around, some attempts he made, and I said some attempts I made. So people try to say all kinds of things. Whether he wants to run for presidency, he's qualified. No doubt about that. It's one of the respected people. And people should not just guess he came to do this. There was no problem. People just try to put in problems when there are no problems. Look, you know why people should. I know what they think. With all due respect, let me tell you, there's nothing I want to do that I will not do. So many people think I quarrel with my colleagues. I don't. That's why I say people just try to see how they can divide us.
That's colleague governors.
But yes, I don't. And one man that I'll tell you I'll do something, I'll do it. I've never anywhere, apart from one state I'll tell you. And I had a reason for it. I've never said to anybody in any state that me, the governor of the state, will support you for government. Not even in my own state. I have never. I remember some people are my friends. When some of them come to me, some feel, this one is close to Wike. Are you sure he's not going to back him for governor? The only person I can tell you today, and I won't apologize, is my friend in Cross River State, understand the honor. Anybody who knows me know that he has asked me for support. I said I was going to support him. Let heaven fall, I will do that. Whether he wins is not my business. Because he's a worthy friend. That if he seeks for your help, your support, it should be. Because when I was running for Deputy National President of Algon, when we were local government chairman, he was outgoing. And he gave me a lot of support. And he showed that friendship, commitment to it.
What of Daribe? Daribe hasn't told you that he's going to become.
Daribe is not, I know that he was just declared a senator elect by from what I have on the appeal tribunal. Yeah. But the point I'm making is that I have never come out to do something hiding it. No. No. If anything you want me, as I tell you today, I will do it. Whether it's successful or not, it's immaterial. But I will do it. So you don't go anywhere to say, I hear. Wike wants to do it. No, it's not true. Just like I told the governor of Abia State, that this organizing secretary is not somebody you think you should hand over to. Well, yeah, but not that you should hand over to anyway. You don't have to pay. It's God. It's God that says who will take over. I don't think if one should analyze.
So what role did the governors play in eventually stabilizing the problem?
Those details, you shouldn't get it. It is for, no,
it's not for the public.
It's not for the public. It's our
but the public is interested in the difference between the difference between allowing the NWC to run its full course to December and fast forwarding it to October.
That is why what is important for you to know, there is peace in PDP. The other details is not for your consumption. It's for our own internal consumption.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you make out of it does.
Okay.
Nobody that cannot make sacrifice. There's nobody that cannot make sacrifice for the interest of the party. I have made sacrifice in life, in the party. Do you know what would have happened if this governor did not speak one voice? Do you know if the elders of the party did not intervene, what would have happened to PDP in the next few hours as at then? You know, so first of all, we give thanks to God Almighty. And I thank my colleagues for understanding the need for us to work as a team to push this party, because Nigerians are waiting for PDP. Everybody is tired. Everybody is agitated against APC because there's nothing they can offer Nigerians again. And we also thank the leader, the BOT, former President of the National Assembly, who came out to say, look, that the interest of our party, certain sacrifices must be made. And that's how it is in politics. Okay. I was to run for Senate before. I even have after I collected from overnight. No, look, no, we won't do this. Our chief of staff then, for the interest of the party, drop it. I dropped it. The person knew in the primary I was scoring 90%, he may score 10. But I was told to leave for the interest of the party, and I left it. Then I turned to be the DG of the governor's election. So that must be sacrificed. It's not the question that you have lost or he have won. No. But the point is, in leadership, it's just like I am. I have some problems. I can never say I don't have problems. The way I manage it is a different total thing. It's a total different thing. Take for example, I know there are people who want to run for governorship in my state. I know. There are so many of them. But nobody can say that this person has an advantage over the other person. Because I give everybody
level play field.
Everybody. I don't want you to be at advantage position than the other person. So that you don't crack your house. I believe at the appropriate time. It may not be easy. But God, by God's own grace, will be able to sort it out. To sit down to say, look, we have an enemy. That enemy is APC. We must work as a team. We are not going to lord it over. But we have to sit down, look at the pros and cons of it, and tell ourselves the simple truth. Do we really want to win an election? If we are to win an election, what do you think we should do? Should we go with this yellow? Should we go with this green or this white? Looking at the advantages and disadvantages. We may not end up one day. You may take another day, that's what's called talking, discussing, persuasion. That's what it's supposed to be.
I noticed that you are aware that we have actually short our initial time. this is because we have been graciously giving extra 20 minutes.
Basically,
so let's use the 20 minutes judiciously.
But the Rivers State government has always, I mean, look at the commission in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Live. How many states have done that for any national television?
Okay.
No, tell me
Maybe that's part of the 20 minutes you have been giving.
Is that enough? Is that enough for 6 weeks of having patronage of that magnitude?
Okay.
I was thinking that you would give us
from there.
3 more days
to be doing this interview.
Of course, there are a lot of things to discuss about Nigeria.
Okay, we are just giving you 20 minutes. So let's use the 20 minutes wisely.
Thank you.
I'm sure you don't want to talk about the APC, or you want to. The APC is conducting congresses and all of that. Your major criticism against the party has been that, this party is not organized. They are being run by caretaker people. They are in the process of rectifying all of that. That should send some warning signal to the PDP as well.
No. First of all, the crisis we had is not as huge as that of APC. APC does not only have internal problems, they have constitutional problems. No matter how they try to cover it. Yes, there are various groups having problems. They're compounded by that constitutional crisis. But that's not my business. They should sort themselves out. Like I said, it's not in my place to help them sort out their problems. But I don't want Nigerians to put them back in power. They best stop Nigeria. If they continue again, they will not call Nigeria. So let them die with their crisis. I pray every day that such crisis will never leave them. Because God is trying to make something new for Nigeria by making sure that PDP is organized to take over the rest of power in 2023. So, but like again, if you read every day in the newspaper, you say APC, abusing me Rivers State. What is my business with APC? I have done our own campaigns. The campaigns are projects well done, projects we are doing. What have you brought to Rivers State from where you are? To make Rivers State believe that there's hope for them there. As it is today, there's no hope. No Rivers man want to think of APC. So every day they call my name that they are having crisis wicked. Then what's my business? Put your house in order and say it's wicked. You are fighting amongst yourself. This person will collect from, will not collect from. He says it's wicked. I mean, I don't understand it. Look at us in this party. We did local government election. Look at how well organized. Did you hear of anybody going to court to challenge the primaries? Did you hear of any sort? APC wanted to plant people, they were beaten to the game. Why? Consultation. No exclusion. Inclusiveness. Call everybody. Why you think this should be the way you should do it? But when you don't tell people that, you do it as the Alpha and Omega, people will revolt against it. People will fight against it. That is the point I'm making. Look at us. We have our own problems. But we'll try to sit down to discuss it. That's why, if you watch around, leaders of the party, where has it happened? Where? The way all of us see us together. Yes, we quarrel. Well, we'll sort it out. You made a mistake. But you, yes, having made that mistake, you shouldn't have taken it this way, knowing that you are the leader of the party. That's how things are done.
Okay. One national issue, and then I'll come back to how we started. Because at the beginning, you appealed more to Rivers people in the diaspora who are not aware of the transformation that is taking place back home. A lot of them, from the comments we are getting, joined late, they missed that part, and I'd like you to restate it for the purpose of those audience. But just one quick issue before I allow you to do that, and that has to do with the Electoral Act Amendments and how it ended in the National Assembly. Are you disappointed that the members of the National Assembly don't seem to be on the same page with majority of Nigerians on the need to be more transparency to the electoral process by way of electronic transmission of results from polling units to generate more transparent outcome?
Benga, to be candid to you, I have never been traumatized all my life, the way I was traumatized when I saw or heard of this coup. There was a coup in this country, and that coup was masterminded by APC-led National Assembly members. They planned a coup against Nigerians. I don't know how anybody could his conscience go home as a member of National Assembly, go home and eat the food made by your wife and look into the eyes of your children, and that you voted against electronic transmission of results. For Christ's sake, if you had a child and the child said, "Dad, why are you against the result being transmitted electronically?" What would you tell your child? Because in our village, we don't have, there are no facilities.
No network.
What facilities will create a network?
Okay.
Okay, simply put, there's no network. But you said the voting must be done by electronic device. Where would network come that you will vote, but there will no network to transmit electronically? Come on. That child who said that, I think you need to be re-examined. Are you sure you are well? If it were other countries, those who voted against, those who plotted that coup, they can't contest any election again. If it were other countries, then you voted against Nigeria's progress, that you voted against rigging, that you voted in favor of rigging election, you cannot dare go to the electorate to say you want to recontest election. They have said the stage of rigging. Rigging is a process. It's not a one-day affair, not that of election. It's the process that leads to the election that the rigging has started. And you know what pains me most is because Mr. President has, in several occasions, tried to let Nigerians know that he will conduct a free and fair election, that the one legacy he will leave for the Nigerians is that he conducted a free, fair, transparent, and credible election. I was one of those who doubted it. And today, I'm vindicated that there's no way this government can conduct a free and fair, transparent election. It is not possible. It's not in the process. So you don't need to even begin to have any hope. If I was Mr. President, as the leader of my party, as it were, what normally happens, Mr. Lawmakers in my party, remember, we as a party, we have assured Nigerians through me that whatever we preach, we are going to implement. And one of the things we are going to implement is that we promise Nigerians that we are going to conduct a free, fair, transparent election. And how do we show that? That what we have said we are going to implement it is by making sure that all of you vote in support of electronic transmission of results. Now that your party members overwhelmingly voted against it, what confidence are you giving to Nigerians now that truly you are going to leave a legacy of transparent election? It is not going to be possible. So the only way Mr. President can come back to that is to reject, to veto this amendment by the National Assembly. I said no. To include this electronic transmission of results. That alone will give a lot of credibility to Mr. President's government. Because there's not anybody can preach to me if results are not transmitted electronically. The umpire called INEC has said we have capacity. Now, if it's not included in the Electoral Act, of what weight will it bear? It's like one candidate was not what the Electoral Law Act as at then allowed was manual, accreditation and voting. So candidate was not in the Electoral Act. So it has no weight to be attached to it. So, for me, I still believe that Mr. President had a lot of opportunities to tell the world, to tell Nigerians, I can't allow this. I've already made this promise. I'm going to fulfill it. Do you know the worst of it? Chairman of INEC voted against his own report. Have you ever seen that happen?
Chairman of INEC or chairman of
INEC
committee?
Yes, INEC committee. Not chairman of the Electoral body. Yeah. Chairman of INEC committee, Senate. Yeah. His Excellency Senator Gaya voted against his own report. Have you ever seen that happen? A chairman will vote against his own report. What kind of country are we? What kind of representation are we getting? That I made the report, I signed, then I went to the floor and voted against the report I signed. I can't believe it.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.